have together and for all of the people gathered around your word this morning. We ask that you continue to increase our knowledge of your salvific work in Exodus chapters 14 and 15. All these things we ask in the holy person of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Exodus 4. Oh, I forgot my glasses. Wow, it's.
Where are they?
My eyes are getting worse. Like they really like.
You must be over 40.
Yeah. You know, that one. Yeah, I'll get them. That's fine.
Get 'em.
There's that one scene in White Christmas when Bing Crosby, right? He does like, oh, I've not have played trombone yet. And I'm starting to notice that I have to zoom in to get the right thing. And I went to the optometrist and she was like, wow, your eyes have gotten a lot worse this year. And I'm like, does that mean that I need to eat more carrots or leafy greens or something? And she's like, no, there's nothing you can really do about it. I was like, oh, that's nice. Thank you so much. No, I got my. All right. Exodus 14. So we did this on Easter sunrise service. So if you didn't get up super early, you may have missed that part. And that's why we're here to talk about it today. All right? So I'll read the first paragraph and then we can talk about it. Then the Lord said to Moses, tell the people of Israel to turn back and encamp in front of Pi-hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea, in front of Baal-Zephon. You shall encamp facing it by the sea. For Pharaoh will say of the people of Israel, they are wandering in the land. The wilderness has shut them in, and I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them. And I will get glory over Pharaoh and all his host, and the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord. And they did so. Remember with the Lord, you can just change that to Yahweh, because that's the name of Yahweh. So that the Egyptians shall know that I am Yahweh. Okay. Good?
So it's basically hardening Pharaoh's heart, in my mind, continually to cause all this problem so God can correct it and show the people of Israel, I am Yahweh.
I think that is a good summary, right? So the whole purpose is for God to get the glory. So how is God going to get the glory? He's going to show them that he is able to save them, right? And in order to save them, they have to
Do something to make it safe.
do something to make it savable. And that is going to be being hemmed in by the sea, getting trapped by the sea. Okay? That's good. Are there any words in there that pop out at you that you want some more explanation of? I'm sorry, I'm still not talking right. I've had people tell me that they can't hear the difference. I can hear the difference when I'm speaking. I feel like my diction isn't as clear as it usually is. So if you need me to re-say something, just let me know.
If we look at you funny.
It's just like, what?
You're doing fine. It's good.
So we don't know exactly where all of these positions are, the Pi-hahiroth. It is an Egyptian word, which means canal. Migdol is a Canaanite or Egyptian word that means tower. And Baal, we know, is what?
False God.
False god of... Tell me either what he's the god of or where he's the god of. I'll take either answer.
The Canaanites.
The Canaanites, right? So all of the people up kind of north of Israel, okay? And Zephon is an Israelite word which means north. So Baal of the north. Okay? Apparently there was a place wherever they were, which was close to a site of worship of Baal, the one that is of the north. We don't know where that is right now, but it's somewhere in the area. Okay? So you should, from now, and we'll talk when we get to Judges specifically about the false god Baal and what that means. But what you need to know is that he's kind of like the Zeus figure of the Canaanites. Okay, so he's the god of the sky, he's the god of thunder. It becomes more of a thing. But this is one of the first times that Baal has come across in our text in Genesis and Exodus. Baal is a Semitic word. Do you know what I mean when I say Semitic? It's like that region of the Midwest, or the Middle East, that means Lord. Baal means Lord. In the same way that in Hebrew, Adonai means Lord. So it's just the pagan word for Lord. Okay? So Lord of the North. And you always see it in the text as one word, like this. But you'll notice that you don't call it Baal. It's not like how we say B-A-L-L. Because of the two A's, it's actually separated by a Hebrew letter that you don't pronounce, but it separates the two syllables, so it's more correct to say Baal instead of Baal. So you'll hear me doing that. Okay? And whenever I write it, I'll write it like this. Okay? But it's the same thing. Okay, good. Verse 5. Then the king of Egypt was told that the people had fled. The mind of Pharaoh and his servants was changed toward the people, and they said, "What is this we have done, that we have let Israel go from serving us?" So he made ready his chariot and took his army with him. He took 600 chosen chariots and all the other chariots of Egypt, with officers over all of them. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued the people of Israel, while the people of Israel were going out defiantly. And the Egyptians pursued them, all of Pharaoh's horses and chariots and his horsemen and his army, and overtook them and camped at the sea by Pi-hahiroth in front of Baal-zephon. Yeah?
First came the Pharaoh and his servants changing their minds.
Mm-hmm.
That was their decision.
Yeah.
Then, when he's got all these army together, he hardened Pharaoh's heart. That's when he hardened his heart. People say, "Oh, the poor Egyptians, God was picking on them. He was hardening their hearts and making them do things they didn't want to do." Oh no, they wanted to do this.
Yeah.
And then he hardened their hearts to make Pharaoh more determined
To make it happen.
to make it happen.
Right.
So it's like, yeah,
I say it all the time. God's going to give you what you want
yeah.
because he loves you. Right? And sometimes God's going to give you stuff that isn't good for you. Why? Because you're asking for sinful stuff. And it happens. He goes away unless you do it. So it's really important for us to consistently be in God's Word and in prayer so that we know that we are following God's way and not our way. That's why one of my favorite, you guys always make fun of me because everything's my favorite. It's not. Vicki and I planned the hymns for the rest of the year yesterday, and she was like, "Oh, let's do this one hymn." I said, "No, I don't like that hymn. It's not, we didn't put it in. Yeah, so we didn't do it because I didn't want to sing it. But I always go back to that one hymn, Lord, keep us steadfast in your word, right? Lord, keep us steadfast in your word. Curses and deceit or sword. Yeah, like that hymn is so appropriate for like everything, right? We might think that it's only like a Lenten one because it's kind of like more like a slow or almost minor song, like Lord, keep us steadfast in your word. But like it works, right? So I think that we might be singing that a little bit more often because it's important for us to do.
I'm wondering, it's the hardening of the heart, that's always bothered me, like God is doing it. Is it?
Did I give you the chart?
Probably not.
All right, I got a chart for you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, what I'm wondering is, the Pharaoh's already got the idea okay, that he's going to do this, and the Lord just comes along and just kind of reinforces it. Okay, is that the hardening of the heart? I mean, God's not making it up, it's already there. Okay, I can understand.
It's the sin. It's the sin.
Okay.
This would never happen, right? Let's say one day I am particularly angry at pick whatever you want me to be angry about, right? And so I decide in my head I'm gonna be angry, right? And so I go home and my wife and kid are just doing their normal thing, and out of my anger, what is gonna happen? I'm gonna yell at them or say something when I'm not. Why am I doing that? Am I really angry at them? No, it's just my sin is perpetuating itself. And that's what happens with sin, because we learned that in Genesis chapter 3, right? Sin begets sin. So if I decided I'm going to sin, I'm going to change my mind against the Lord after he's shown me 10 times in these plagues what's going on, that sin is going to make you sin more, right? So God's like, yeah, go, fine, go do your thing. Yeah.
What chapter in Genesis is that?
What?
Where sin.
Vicky just texted me, she says there's no sound.
You mean the sin begets?
Yeah, sin begot.
She said it was real glitchy.
Sin begot sin.
So that's
lost
a
it
phrase
once
that
already.
I say.
I don't have any
It's
control
not.
at
It's
that.
not a quote from the Bible.
Okay.
Okay. So the way that I get to that theology is that in Genesis chapter 3, when Satan tempts Eve and she takes the fruit, which is not an apple, it's a fruit, right? It's actually, some people think it's a date, which is really interesting, right? Because we don't do dates here. So take a bite of the date or the fruit, right? And then what does she do? She causes Adam to sin. And then what does Adam do? He sins by blaming her, right? And then we get the curses of the childbearing and the ground. And then first thing in Genesis chapter 4, we've got the kids, Cain and Abel. What happens? We get more sin, right? So it's like snowballing out of control. So I say in Genesis and Exodus, and we're going to see this throughout the rest of human history, right? That sin is going to cause more sin. It's the only thing that it can do. We can't make good. We can't say, oh, well, I sinned, so that's good for you. It's a sin against you if I sin.
And baptism takes away that original sin.
Well, right, and so that's what makes God so good. We still have original sin, even though we're baptized, because we're always going to keep on sinning, right? But God forgives us of that sin in baptism. So God is the only one that can take a sin and make it good. Okay. We can't do that. We can only take a sin and make more sin because of our original sin. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Sin begets sin.
Sin begets sin, right? And I say that because in Genesis, we have that beget all the time, that begat word that we don't usually use, but it's in all of our Bibles, right? So I take that concept and I put it in Genesis terms and say sin begets sin.
Okay, makes sense.
Or you can say sin makes sin. It's the same thing, right? Good. All right, good question. Any other things with that? Oh, I didn't like that.
I just had to read it twice. The last line, verse 8, the last half of it. People of Israel were going out defiantly. That's what the Pharaoh was thinking, right?
Yeah, well, so I like that because the whole theme of Exodus is that verb, to go out. That's what Exodus means in the Greek, right? To go out, to exit. Exodus means exit, to go out. Okay? So now Israel's gotten their marching orders and they're actually marching as a positive thing that they're doing. Or if you have to put it in a negative term, they're going defiantly against Egypt. They're going defiantly against the Pharaoh, right? So the Hebrew actually doesn't have the adverb defiantly. The Hebrew says they go out with a high hand. So the way that they interpret high hand is defiantly. What does it mean to do something with a high hand? We have this phrase in English too.
Yeah. Something done.
Something the other day and.
Good.
Hearing still. He's happy today.
Well, no, like my wife does that all the time. She's like, I'm gonna be right back.
Oh, really?
Good, I'm glad you're coming back.
Teenagers say that.
Tina,
Anyway, I was listening the other day to somebody, and they were saying that when they left Egypt, they didn't just take the Israelites, they took others with them.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Other
That's what it
Egyptians
means
or
with by
slaves.
mixed multitude.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when they left, they brought more people in, and
Yeah,
that
yeah,
had
yeah.
to affect them down the road. too.
Yeah,
Other
100%,
gods.
100%, yeah, yeah. And we're gonna see that in Exodus 32 with the golden calf,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
It was their fault then.
That's one way to blame them. Yeah. And you see that,
Okay, Adam and Eve.
Right.
Blame, blame.
the way that is displayed in the Ten Commandments in the movie. Do you remember that really slimy guy that like takes Miriam as
Edward G. Robinson.
yeah, like he's just the only way I can describe him is slimy.
Yeah.
Like you see him and you're just like ugh, right? He ends up leaving with the Israelites. He's one of the people that actually get saved, even though you don't want him to get saved, right? So that's the way that they display mixed multitude in the movie.
So it's a matter of saving them, that's
Yeah,
salvation.
yeah,
Really
yeah,
taking place right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Huh,
For everyone, anyone who follows God
okay.
and His Word will be saved.
I guess I didn't even look at it as a salvation.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing, isn't it?
yeah. Good. All right. Verses 10 through 14. So when Pharaoh drew near, the people of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians were marching after them, and they feared greatly. So whenever you have a verb with greatly or surely or whatever, it just means that the verb is doubled, okay? So they feared with fear. And the people of Israel cried out to the Lord. That word cry out is like shriek. It's like, yeah, like the worst, strongest cry you can come up with. It's a very forceful verb. And they said to Moses, "It is because there are no graves in Egypt that you have taken us away to die in the wilderness? What have you done to us in bringing us out of Egypt? Is not this what we said to you in Egypt? Leave us alone that we may serve the Egyptians? For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness. And Moses said to the people, fear not, stand firm, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will work for you today. For the Egyptians who you see today, you shall never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be silent. Harsher way to say that?
Shut up.
You need to only shut up. Get out of your own way.
Moses has really taken on a leadership role.
Oh, this is drastically different from Exodus chapter 3. We come full circle, right? Where he's like, well, I'm slow of tongue and I can't speak, and I need my brother to do and now he's like, guys, what else do you want God to do for you? It's very, very cool to see that growth in Moses. What else in this paragraph?
They're doubting already.
Okay, so what is this? 5 verses ago, they were going out defiantly with a high hand, and now they're whining already. They're like little kids.
Because of fear.
Because of a great
They see them
fear.
coming after them.
They're like little 5-year-old girls, like.
Still, faith is looking.
5-year-old.
That would never happen, right? Never whine about anything.
We're gonna tell Rosa you're talking about.
That's okay. That's okay. So again, we've come full circle the other way. So we started out really strong, and now we're weak, right? But I mean, that's kind of what happens with our lives, right? We think it's really, really good, and then the next second we're in despair. So we can see that. What else?
Moses has no doubt. I mean, they're driven right into the sea. I mean, they're backed into a corner, and Moses
Literally.
And Moses has no doubt that God's going to come.
It's like, guys, what's the matter with you? What do you think God can't do? God can snap his fingers and they'd all be dead.
That's like epic.
That is the best word you could have chosen. It is an epic display of faith.
Does he not get any kind of clue prior to this that this is what God's going to do? Or does he just go there with a blind faith and know that he will deliver his people?
Well, so when we look back in the last chapter, okay, Exodus 13, verse 17. When Pharaoh let the people go, God did not lead them by the way of the Philistines, although it was near, for God said, lest the people change their minds when they see war. So there's going to be a war, okay, and return to Egypt. But God led the people around by the way of the wilderness toward the Red Sea, and the people of Israel went up out of the land of Egypt equipped for battle. Another war word. Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for Joseph had made the sons of Israel swear, saying, God will visit you, and you shall carry out my bones with you from here. And they moved out from Succoth and camped at Etham in the edge of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud and led them along the way, by night the pillar of fire to give them light, that they might travel by day and night. The pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night did not depart from before the people. All right? So they have a visual display of God in front of them now, with a pillar of cloud and a pillar of fire. So we can say, just based off of the text, that Moses can visually see God's presence and trust in that presence.
So he doesn't know ahead of time this is going to happen. He just knows that God is going to.
He has not been told yet to stretch out his arm across the sea so that it'll be dried up.
Okay.
Okay? That answers your question?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I think what is important for me as the teacher of this is verse 11. And they said to Moses, "Is it because there are no graves in Egypt that you have taken us away to die in the wilderness?" I mean, that's pretty sassy, right? That's some pretty good talk back. And if you take the force of that irony, I don't know if you can get a harsher way to talk back to God.
What did they mean by no graves? I mean, they were in Egypt for 400 years.
Yeah, I think they're being sarcastic. And they're saying, hey, there's plenty of graves, what, just leave us with the graves in Egypt. Let's die with Egypt. We're Egyptians now. You waited 400 years, why do this? We're what, we're gonna die in the wilderness? What's the point of that? Why do you do all these miracles just to kill us?
Well, I think that's an important statement when you say we're Egyptians now.
Yeah.
We are Egyptians.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, culturally, they're still God's people.
Culturally, they're at least syncretistic,
Yeah.
right? So, part of their identity is now in Egypt.
So what Moses is trying to do is change all, or what God's trying to do is change all that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can understand when they get sassy,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
you were drawn by a year.
I think you can, except for the past 6 chapters. God has been proving to them that they're not the same, right? The plagues happen in Egypt, they don't happen in Goshen.
Yeah. That's important, yeah. That's
Right? Like they're separate. They're special. They're God's people. And they're saying, no, we'd rather have false gods. We'd rather die in Egypt. No, thank you.
Well, that's human too, you know. God can do all kinds of things, and then He has for me, and then you turn around and He doesn't do something, and you get.
And you're like, oh, does God even love me? I can't believe that.
Or me.
Right. Okay.
Well, you're taking a settled tribe, and then you're turning them into nomads.
Mm.
So, yeah, I wouldn't be happy if I became a nomad tomorrow.
However, as someone who, I mean, there's a reason I'm a pastor, right? I'm not really one for manual labor. It's just not. I'm just my stick, right? So like, if it were me, I'd be like, great, I don't have to make bricks anymore. This is working out for me, right? And they're saying, no, I'd rather make bricks and get whipped than be in the wilderness with God.
Because that was familiar.
certain death by the Egyptians.
And face certain death. Absolute certain death, die in the grave in Egypt.
But aren't they thinking, I'm going to have certain death right here?
They
because
are.
It's huge.
They
army
are.
is
They are,
coming.
and that's the
And
whole
they're like,
point. That's the whole
Die
point.
now,
Yeah.
go back to Egypt.
Yeah,
leave.
at least I can live for another 20 years as a slave in Egypt.
Yeah.
Well, they would have been
That's so
appeasing
human.
the Egyptians
So
too.
human.
Right.
Yeah, so,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So what I really like about the discussion in the past 10 minutes is that you've been able to dissect the multiple facets of what they're actually saying. Okay? So everything that we've said is true all at the same time. And it's difficult for us sometimes as learners of the Bible to take these multiple perspectives and keep them all true at the same time. Okay? And then if you take that second part of verse 11, what have you done to us in bringing us out of Egypt? Remember I said that the most important verb in Exodus is the verb to bring out, or to exit, or to go out. Okay? So they're saying, why did you exodus us? Why are you even doing this whole point of everything that you've done? We don't want it.
They say that in the next one. We told you to leave us alone.
We told you to leave us alone. Why aren't you leaving us alone? Well, that wasn't true in verse 8 when you're going out with high hand.
With the spoils of Egypt.
Yeah.
With all of the spoils of Egypt, of all of your neighbors and your landlords and your supervisors and you've got it. You've got Egypt in the palm of your hand.
But don't you think they wanted all of that and not exit? Was that
Just to take over Egypt?
I mean, like, that's how people's minds work. That's very human. We want God to fix the problem, but we want it on our terms. We think we know better than God. So God could have swept right in there and flipped the whole situation around and put his people over the Egyptians and enslaved them. But he took them out.
Because there were a great many of them, and that's why Exodus started, right?
Yeah, there were so many of them.
Yeah.
But once again, we think we know better.
So, what do you think about verse 13 and 14? And Moses said to the people, "Fear not, stand firm, see the salvation of the Lord, which he will work for you today. For the Egyptians who you see today, you shall never see again. The Lord will fight for you, and you have only to be silent."
Shut up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many times have you said that to a kid, right? I'd be quiet if I were you. Right?
It's like having buyer's remorse.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it's like having buyer's. Yes, it is like having God remorse. I'm sorry I bought in to this Yahweh God.
Even though they were glamping.
Even though they were glamping with all the gold and the silver. Yeah. You're a wordsmith today.
Israelites.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, verse 15. And the Lord said to Moses, "Why do you cry to me? Tell the people of Israel to go forward." Does that strike you as odd?
Yeah, keep moving.
Keep moving where?
But did Moses all of a sudden cry to the Lord?
Yeah, he's like, hey, like,
What's happening here?
like, okay, I trust you, but what's the next step? I mean, like, that's what I would do, right? Like, dear Lord, I love you. Tell me what to do next. I'll do it. And the Lord's like, what? Like, just go do it. Now, that strikes me as very odd when I'm reading it, right? Because it appears in the rest of Exodus that God wants the people to cry to him. That God wants Moses to talk to him.
But his plan wasn't shared with them until it happened.
Until it happens. But I think that, like, the way that I see that, or the way that I interpret verse 15, tell the people of Israel to go forward, is like, God would have just done it. If they would have just
What
walked.
she's saying is he's working in partnership with Moses.
Yeah.
And I think God does that
Yeah,
throughout the
yeah.
scriptures.
But I'm saying that, like, maybe Moses didn't even have to lift his staff. Maybe the Israelites could have just walked.
But they've seen this big sea.
But they've seen the sea. And what, like, how are you supposed to do that?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Right? So in the next verse, that's when Moses tells them to lift up the staff. Lift up your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it, that the people of Israel may go through the sea on dry ground.
So it wasn't even muddy ground, like sea.
I am really glad that you caught on to that. Because whenever we picture it in our minds, we think of mud,
Right.
right? Because how can the bottom of the sea be dry? Okay? So the word dry ground is one word in Hebrew, and it means parched spot.
Okay.
Right? The thing that is like a desert.
Well, that was for the Israelites to get across with their.
With all their stuff.
Yeah,
It's bone dry.
But then it gets muddy when the
Well,
Egyptians.
he just says that the wheels get caught. So whatever that means. Okay. Well, we'll get there. All right. But this is not like, oh, let's walk across the marsh.
Right.
This is you have sure footing. Right?
And we picture the movie, this splitting apart
Yeah.
with these huge towering walls and this narrow path. They had over 1 million people to get through there and all their stuff.
Yeah.
This had to have been big, wide.
It's possible it could have been.
You know, so that they all could get across.
Is there any indication of how long it took them to get across? Was it days? Or
No.
weeks?
It was probably one night.
Wow, to that many people?
Yeah.
And the herds.
And the herds and the carts and the right.
So it was a big space.
It was a big to do. All right. Dry ground. And I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians so that they will go in after them, and I will get glory over Pharaoh and all his hosts, his chariots, and his horsemen. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord when I have gotten glory over Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen. So you see the contrast of the pronouns there. Okay?
God was being very dramatic, you know, I mean, the ground wasn't just dry, it was parched. The walls were big.
I really
It was
appreciate
that little puddle.
that comment. I think the more that we can consider this as an epic, as dramatic, as what we would consider from the movie The Ten Commandments, how dramatic that was.
Even getting them to their following.
Right, and the adjective of dramatic is drama, right? The drama of this story is amazing.
The 10 plagues would have been enough for me.
And the 10 plagues would have been enough. The first plague would have been enough, thank you very much. Right?
Yeah.
When you consider how dramatic this entire story is, we understand its importance in the narrative of the Old Testament, which is why I chose to do it for Lent and for Easter. Because in the New Testament, there's nothing more dramatic than Jesus dying on the cross and rising again. And here we have the same story of salvation being played out by the Israelites, where there was certainty of death, being hemmed in on every side, and now we have salvation come in the most dramatic and epic way possible. So when we go through, and we're going to talk about this in 10 minutes, when we go through the rest of the Old Testament, the writers of the Old Testament are always going to come back to this chapter and talk about how God worked his salvation for his people.
He did that in the New Testament. It wasn't me.
Maybe something fell down.
But it's brought forward in the New Testament too, like with Stephen when he was being stoned. The most dramatic time of his life.
Yeah. Exodus 8
Yeah.
is huge, or Acts 8 is huge. Yeah.
So God wanted all this to happen for our benefit today.
Correct. Which is why I chose it for Lent and Easter. Okay? So if I were to ask you, and I think I started the Easter service out with this question, what is the most important story of the Old Testament? Your answer to that question has to be this chapter. And you can make an argument for Genesis 1 and 2 and 3, because that sets up the entire Bible, right? Of who God is, what sin is, how sin works, how God works with sin. But when you talk about salvation, if you talk about Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, that the woman is going to have offspring that is going to crush the head of the enemy. Well, metaphorically, the enemy is Satan in Genesis chapter 15, but in reality, in Exodus 14, the enemy is Egypt. And they're going to die. Is everything okay?
Yeah,
Oh.
Tim.
Oh, that makes more sense. Okay, good. I know what he's doing. So Exodus 14 is the Old Testament. If you want to introduce the Old Testament to someone, you can do it through Exodus. I might start with Genesis because Genesis is a special place in my heart. I don't know why, I'm drawn toward the book of Genesis. Maybe because I'm a linear person and I like things in order, and Genesis is the start, so you start at the beginning. But Exodus tells the story of God in a way that no other book of the Old Testament does. Nothing in the Old Testament is as dramatic or epic as Exodus chapter 14. Okay? You can do, Daniel and the Lion's Den. It's a great story. It's totally dramatic and epic. How can a man be with lions overnight and not get mauled? Right? Being thrown into a furnace. If you read the Hebrew of that, it is crazy how many words they use to describe how hot that fire was. Like, they say it's the fire that burns like nothing has burned in the history of burning. It's the hottest fire you can get, right? And they get thrown in, and they're still like that is epic. But that's a chapter. Both Daniel, those are one chapter each in Daniel. Okay? We get the Exodus story from Exodus chapter 3 all the way through 15. The drama of these chapters is unparalleled. You can talk about the drama of Hosea having to marry a prostitute and having kids, and sure, it's a lot. It's not like the 10 plagues, though, which would have been enough for me. Right? Okay, good. Verse 9. Oh gosh, we've got some more to go. Then the angel of the Lord, who was going before the host, who's the angel of God?
Oh, the
Jesus, but we don't
pre-incarnate.
say Jesus because that's his pre-incarnate form.
Pre-incarnate.
Second person of the Holy Trinity. Son, who intercedes for his people, for God's people, right? The angel of God who was going before the host of Israel moved and went behind them, and the pillar of cloud moved from before them and stood behind them. So instead of it being by the sea, telling them where to go, it moves behind them to block the Egyptians. Okay? Between the host of Egypt and the host of Israel, and there was a cloud and the darkness, and it lit up the night without one coming near the other all night. So it kept them separated. That's another way to say that. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord drove the sea back by a strong east wind all night and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the people of Israel went into the midst of the sea on dry ground, the waters being a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them into the midst of the sea, all of Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. And in the morning watch, that's how you get that it's overnight, right? And the morning watch, the Lord in the pillar of fire and the cloud looked down on the Egyptian forces and threw the Egyptian forces into a panic, clogging their chariot wheels so that they drove heavily. And the Egyptians said, "Let us flee from before Israel, for the Lord fights for them against the Egyptians." Okay, so there's no use of mud. It doesn't say mud. What's another way that chariot wheels could get clogged?
Debris. that's
Debris.
sitting on-
Or dust from the dry ground.
Oh, when you have a few hundreds, thousands, million people walking on the same spot, it's gonna get
It's
torn up.
gonna get a little dusty, right? So you don't have to assume mud here. And I would argue it's better if you don't. Go ahead.
Rust.
Rust? Yeah.
The whole Israelites went through, they're gonna leave marks on the ground.
Oh, ruts. Yeah, ruts.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. True.
Yeah. Trying to get. Yeah.
Like the Oregon Trail.
Yeah. That's good. Okay. So yeah, they drove heavily. Let us flee from before. So once their wheels start getting clogged, then they're like, oh wait, maybe this isn't a good idea because we've never seen the sea do this before. Let's go, because Yahweh's fighting for them and against us. This isn't gonna end well, right?
Certainly slowed them down.
Slowed them down. Why does God want to slow them down?
So that they all get into it.
So they all get in the midst of it. Okay? Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, that the water may come back upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots and upon their horsemen." So Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its normal course when the morning appeared. As the Egyptians fled into it, the Lord threw the Egyptians into the midst of the sea. The waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the host of Pharaoh that had followed them into the sea. Not one of them remained. But the people of Israel walked on dry ground through the sea, the waters being a wall to them on the right hand and on to the left. Their foe is vanquished.
Did
So the
Pharaoh
entire-
perish in this as well? Because I heard they will find what to do.
In the movie, The Ten Commandments, does Pharaoh die?
No.
No, he goes back.
He stands up
Yeah,
on
he
top
goes
of the
back.
rock.
He goes back
Ceiling.
with his tail between his legs, right?
Yeah.
I always assumed that Pharaoh did die, but I don't think it says.
But was the entire army or whatever they called it?
Yeah,
Was that all destroyed?
decimated.
Nothing.
Nothing. No.
It just
All
seems
of
like
his
Pharaoh
horses
was
and
led-
chariots and everything.
So he's a king without an army.
He's a king without an army.
Such man.
Thus the Lord saved Israel that day from the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead on the seashore. And Israel saw the great power that the Lord used against the Egyptians. So the people feared the Lord, and they believed the Lord and in his servant Moses.
Does that show in the history of Egypt that the entire,
Why would it?
I don't know, why wouldn't it?
Does this may sound political, I don't mean it to sound political. Does America like talking about its defeats?
No.
After Donald Trump, I don't think so.
So I don't think that it is common in history to record how you failed. Most of the time it's done,
Totally by the winners.
only history is done by the winners. And so I don't think that Egypt is going to want to record how their army was led into dry ground on a sea, because it sounds too fantastical. Who's going to believe that?
Yeah, who would believe the myth?
Right, right. So no, it is not recorded. Which is a main reason why Egyptologists don't believe that the Exodus actually happened.
Yeah.
Because it's not recorded.
People like Timothy Mahoney.
Mahoney.
I mean, he's driven to
Yeah.
prove some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And he's having a heck of a time.
Well, he is.
The Egyptians won't cooperate.
No, why would they?
Yeah.
Right?
That's the point.
Proves their God is wrong.
Mhm.
Right? Okay, so that's the end of Exodus 14. So next week, what we're going to do is Exodus 15, just the Song of Moses, because that's enough. It's the first 21 verses. Okay? What I need to know from you today, so that I can plan better, even though next week is a lot, is because I made such a big deal about how this is the center of the Old Testament, I'm wondering if you want to see how other writers in the Old Testament use this as the center of their theology. So I have picked out 2 Psalms that we could do that talk about the crossing of the Red Sea. The first one is a shorter one, it's Psalm 77. The other one is a longer one, it's Psalm 118. We can do both of those Psalms in class, or if I'm only going to pick one, I'm going to pick 77 because it's shorter and it's less work for me.
Amanda just did 77.
Oh, really? Was that what you just covered in prayer group? Oh, great. So, do you want to do both the Psalms? Because at the end of 15, it's the center of Exodus. It's a good breaking point because chapter 14 is the climax, and now we're kind of starting our what's that in English? Falling action, descending action. So it's a good stopping point to kind of study something else. So do you want to do one psalm? Do you want to do 2 psalms? You want to do, I can pick different narratives that talk about it too.
I don't know, hearing 77 again.
Yeah? You want to do 1 or 2? Both of them? So we'll do 15 first, and then we'll do 77, and then we'll do 118, and then we'll go back to Exodus 15, I think it's verse 22. Okay? Good. Well, it's done. All right. All right. Sounds good. Thank you for coming today. And I'm excited. Chapter 15 is really cool. So next week we're going to do some stuff that we haven't done before. I'm going to show you some original manuscripts of Exodus 15 that the way that the Hebrew is written down, even though you don't have to understand the Hebrew, but just to kind of see what it looks like, it's really, really awesome. Okay? So let's say the Lord's Prayer and we'll get going. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power,